Reading a Tumblr post by Devil Take the Deviled Eggs to prove the pregame stuff that a lot of people talk about. False. Immediate warning. Throughout the post contains very heavy Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony spoilers. After looking through a lot of fan art and theory posts, thought posts about Danganronpa V3, now that I've beaten the game myself, I see a whole lot of people who seem to believe the implication in Trial 6 that all of the new Danganronpa V3 characters had vastly different personalities entered the Killing Game, and this isn't attempting to say you're 100% wrong or anything, but there are several strong pieces of canon evidence which convince me that that is not the case. More specifically, I'm convinced that none of the characters' personalities were altered, or only if so minimally, despite what the mastermind says. I'm not great at analytical posts, but I just want to try and look at those points one by one to help explain my reasoning better. Read more length and spoilers. Also, it's kind of picture heavy. So, yes, pictures that they put. The intro scene. We get two versions of the intro scene where Kaede first finds herself in the academy and meets Shuichi. At the very beginning, where they're normal students. Oh my gosh, just... where they're normal students, you know? That stuff. Where they're normal students, you know? And not long after, they're ultimate students. One very noticeable thing about both of these versions is that other than the updated outfits, they play out nearly identical. In fact, throughout the entire scene where Kaede meets Shuichi, and right up until just before the mono cubs first appear, much of the dialogue, descriptive text, and voice clips for both of them are exactly the same, almost to the letter. Okay, hold on a second. Let's just stay calm and think this through. And, okay, hold on a second. Let's just stay calm and think this through. Even though things that aren't exactly the same are still very, very similar. I'm not doing the opening image in new tab thing anymore, so yeah. I'm Shuichi Saihara, and I'm Shuichi Saihara. They call me the ultimate detective, but this one also strongly supports the students' names are their real ones and not false ones fabricated for the Killing Game, despite Sumugi's suggestion to the contrary. Things only begin to truly deviate when Kaede remembers a piano melody she thinks will help calm Shuichi down. Even then, her attitude and her way of speaking are still very much the same as before. In fact, it was so eerily similar that when I first saw them going into the game totally blind, it made me think extremely suspicious that some kind of trickery or manipulation was up regarding everyone's talents. Next, the meeting everyone scene. This is the only scene in the game where we ever get the chance to look at the real, with heavy quotation marks, characters before memories are altered and everything happens so quickly that most of them aren't given any real focus. Most of the spotlight goes to Kaede, Shuichi, and the mono cubs. The rest of the students don't really speak at all, or barely speak, so Whittle or Sputtericali, I'm sorry for butchering that, we can't get any real grasp on what kind of people they actually are, except for Miyu. Just Miyu. So on bullet point, because one single line is all it takes to see that Miyu is that normal schoolgirl Miyu. But are you some kind of fucking know-it-all? If you know something, spit it out. is not the least bit different from the legendary inventor, Mew. Don't sneak up on me, bitch. The audition videos and the ambiguous nature of Danganronpa itself in universe. Tamuki presents the audition videos to make the remaining students believe that their current feelings, personalities, and entire sense of self are a lie. I'll come up with the gruesome murders, I promise. Everyone will love it. I'm perfect for a killing game. I don't have any faith in humanity. I'm not just gonna be in Danganronpa. I'm gonna kill everybody and win. But I think there are two important things to consider with the auditions. Numero uno, the fact that they are just auditions. All of the characters wanted to be part of Danganronpa, so they came before the judges and put on a performance for them. When people audition for things, they exaggerate the truth, play themselves up, and tell outright lies if they think it'll get them accepted. The same way you would lie or tell half-truths on a resume or in a job interview to get a good job. Numero dos, the emphasis on the fictional nature of Danganronpa. The Danganronpa past fictional claims to this ultimate real fiction may well have believed that this would be the same. Fiction, an act, a mock-up. If you will, in other words. It's possible that the people auditioning did not believe they or anyone else would be in danger of actually dying. Which, was only true so far in one canon case with Danganronpa 2. Except for Nagito, he's actually dying, send hope for him. It's many of the depraved things they said in their audition videos in an entirely different light, doesn't it? And finally, some particular lines from Samugi. In Chapter 6, Samugi, cosplaying as Chiaki, says these lines to you that I feel are very important. I mean, they suited you to a certain extent, but mostly in a placebo effect sort of way. Kind of like a form of auto-suggestion, like, if you do it, it'll all work out. This may seem like another form of cruelty at first, but it takes some time to think about these lines. If these talents were assigned to everyone, and if these talents were the best suited, then isn't it reasonable to believe that their normal selves were the same or at least similar to their exaggerated ultimate selves? This is further driven home by one particular line from Kaede as far back as the prologue. I have a skill that I can do myself to, but I wouldn't call it an ultimate talent. Such a brief, easily forgettable line, but at the same time it feels so important. The real Kaede may not have been the ultimate pianist, but who was to say she wasn't still passionate about the piano? And it's the same way for the other ultimate students. They may not have truly been the ultimate at their talent, but who's to say that they were devoted to that talent, that they weren't still passionate about it, and that it wasn't still important to their overall identity? That concludes my analysis. Maybe there are some errors or lines that I overlooked, but I hope others will take these things into consideration once they complete the last trial. I hope it still offers them a light if they get too depressed by the ending of the game, And that is where it ends. With concrete canon evidence suggesting that the stereotypical way of everything is even true. Because let's be honest, it doesn't even look true. Next up, we have a little thing by Left on the Danganronpa Amino. Pregame Shuichi is not a fanboy, is a fanboy, not a pervert. I find it disgusting some of the personalities people give to the pregame characters. Most people like to stereotype pregame Shuichi as a pervert who likes to harass pregame Kokichi a lot, and it grosses me out. In the game, he only fanboys over Danganronpa. There's no proof that he's a perv. And then, someone called Ranboom, yes, like the YouTuber, It's a fan account. Already made a PSA about this, but yes, I agree. There's nothing to indicate that. There's something to even indicate whatsoever that Pregame Shuichi is a fanboy. That Pregame Shuichi is perfect. He just is a fanboy. He wanted to be a part of Danganronpa. All this uwu yandere boy uwu shit is disgusting. And you know what? I agree. The next rant posted by Cat Maggie on the Danganronpa subreddit. Let's see how long I can share my opinions until I get cancelled. Note, these rants contain all spoilers. That contain spoilers for all of Danganronpa. If you have not finished all 4 games in the anime, you will be spoiled. Keep in mind, everything posted is my opinion, and you do not have to accept them. I'm not trying to devalue any ships or characters you enjoy. These are for discussion purposes, so please leave comments and we can talk about it. And that is a great start to a rant. It gives off the... This will contain certain things that may be deemed as spoilers. I'm not trying to come off as mean, but I'm just wanting to share my opinions, which is exactly what people should do. They aren't like, if you disagree with me, you're wrong and you're dumb, durder. They aren't like that. They're just, hey, let's talk about this and maybe I can show you why your opinion is somewhat twisted. Topic: misinformation within the fandom. Sorry if I sound more angry or annoyed in this particular rant than I usually do. It's just a bit more of a serious topic, I guess. Indeed it is. The fandom has a major problem with spreading misinformation about characters, their backstories, and just plot in general. Yeah, they really do. The only characters who have, fledged backstories are Kane and Nagito, I can remember from the top of my head. Sure, there's little sub-backstory, but usually those sub-backstory takes off at certain points. Not the exact birth to start sort of thing most would have expected. You know. Anyways, an example, here we go. I forgot about this part. A lot of people in the fandom have headcanons for characters, and that's 100% okay. And a lot of them are harmless and cool, but it gets to a point where some headcanons go completely against the canon character, and then, even worse, when a headcanon is treated as fact and told as such. An example of this that I've been seeing is people in the fandom claiming that Kokichi was abused by his mom. I have never heard people saying he was abused by his mom. I've heard him only being referred to as abused by both parents or just his father. I've never even heard anyone say anything about his mom, which is strange as it's the only parent he ever mentioned since anything near towards. He only mentioned the mother thing once. So I'm impressed not a lot of people talk about it. Anyways, continuing on. A lot of people claim that Kokichi was abused by his mom. Everyone here just seems to accept that people say as what people say, despite there being little to no evidence. Yes. Only time you can get real evidence is when it's canon fact. Or just heavily implied. There's nowhere in the game that say that Kokichi was abused by his mom. The closest evidence that we get is his motive video features no parents, and that he attaches himself to Kirumi and calls her mom, which is a characteristic of people who either don't have a mom or have a bad relationship with their mother. But other than that, nothing in the game hints that Kokichi was ever abused by anyone in his past. And once again, having a headcanon is perfectly fine But we really shouldn't be spreading around misinformation. As major as this, and claiming it's a fact just to confuse people who to the fandom. This is a great rant. Why is it box thing? Why? I wanna upvote this. It only got 20 upvotes. I wanna upvote it, but I can't. Someone in the comments incorrect in fanon and blah 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 blah. I won't be surprised if someone said that stuff because the fandom can't take criticism. Here's another issue that sometimes this misinformation can spread extremely bad info about characters that isn't even true. And yes, I am talking about the Pregame V3 I use specifically with Shuichi. Everyone seems to have painted him out to be an extremely abusive stalker-type character and has even turned his obsession with Danganronpa into a sexual thing. What the fuck? Which is not okay. That is very gross. Shuichi's a minor. All the V3 casts are confirmed to be, I believe, 17 years old. At least that's what they think they are. As for physical ages, no one is sure, but they are mentally still children. But everyone seems to have accepted this version as Shuichi, which is not of Shuichi as canon, which is not true. Amen. This is getting long, man. Sure, there are other examples of misinformation spreading, and I'd love to hear some of the most wacky cases in the comments below. We're halfway there, guys. 5 more rants, then you get to hear the infamous Komahina rant. It's gonna knock your socks off. This is not a prank at all. I'm just amazed that there are smart people in this cursed fandom. Due to how long this rant by Natsumi's trash can is, I'm just gonna make a part 2 on this rant, and maybe a short one. I don't know, do you guys want to see that? So, let's go to another rant. Okay. The issue with Pregame Kokichi headcanons by Shinguchi Gang on Instagram. Okay, this one is less composed, but more of a rant than an. What you think? First thing I need to say that I am in no way trying to bash people who enjoy any headcanon. However, you headcanon Kokichi, if it works for you, great. In this post, I'd like to examine the popular Kokichi headcanons and like to analyze various possibilities and also address some stuff that's been bothering me regarding this matter. I am aware that this will probably be an unpopular opinion, but I'm asking you all to please bear with me and listen to what I have to say. Again, another great rant start. First thing, there is no canon information about Pregame Kokichi. I touched on this in my previous post about headcanons, but I'd like to repeat it once again. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok, Instagram, and other places still confused about this. A lot of comments mainly trying to defend Kokichi, but wasn't Kokichi bullied? No, none of this was ever and will ever be canon. I've seen people telling other fans that this is the accurate Pregame Kokichi, and any other headcanons are fanon. No, it's not. Stop this. Now let's start about what the headcanons. You've all heard about the one where Kokichi's an insecure crybaby whose personality trait is getting bullied by the evil incarnate TM, aka Kaede and Kaito, and is basically just Mikan. You can ubu gay ship with Shuichi. Wait, I'm sorry, but I've never heard that description for Kokichi. First, let's tackle the technical issues. After joining Danganronpa, your memories are replaced. Yes! Just your memories that could mean, for example, Kyo's whole talent could have been manufactured since it's just about knowledge that can be implanted. Skills, however, and most importantly, intelligence can't be. Of course, that doesn't mean Pregame Kokichi can't be insecure. Insecurities are formed by experiences. Those can be given and taken away in the Danganronpa universe. However, his core personality and skill set, his analytical capabilities, his leadership skills, his cunning, intelligent way of thinking, must have been there all along. That reminds me, allow me to go slightly off topic. Just ask this whole fan base as a whole, what did these two ever do to you? Because I cannot, for the life of me, explain the abundance of headcanons about them being relentless bullies and horrible people. I have no faith in humanity. That's it. All it took, a sentence that every edgelord in existence said at least once, or being a boastful dude who wants to win a popular and widely normalized TV show. The only way it can be won. I've already seen about Kaito what? About Kaito killing puppies for fun. I am shooketh. Okay, let's go back to Kokichi and the issue with his pre-game portrayal. In V3, mainly the 5th chapter, he was clearly going off script, indeed. Of course, it would be natural to write in a formidable opponent for the mastermind. I would do that if I was Shirogane. What she would, however, never do is write a character that would turn off the cameras. Danganronpa is all about spectacle. The moment there's missing footage for an important moment, there's a problem. If Shirogane went to manufacture his old wire pants on fire personality, she would make sure nothing like this happened. But Kokichi did something not even Shirogane could predict. Something that could actually harm the viewership ratings that must have come out of him, not the Team Danganronpa writing team. As you can see, the problem with his portrayal isn't really about the headcanons, of course. That smart, cunning people can be bullied and they can be insecure. Rather, the complete nonsensical erasure of everything he's accomplished. I can't agree as much as I do. Can't express it. Saying that his whole in-game persona was manufactured by Team Danganronpa is insisting that nothing he did in the killing game was his own free will. The same way I can argue that Kyo's killing of Tenko and Angie wasn't really his fault, since the artificial backstory forced him into it. It's the best for Kokichi and his plan to stop the killing game. The moment you say that he was a completely different person pre-game, that you're saying that Tsumugi Shirogane was trying to stop the killing game, therefore nullifying his own accomplishments. And there's another thing. How about when writing pre-game Kokichi headcanons, try to actually create a character and not just an accessory to pre-game Saihara, so you can have an uwu gay Seiwama. I've seen a lot of pre-game Kokichi headcanons that only revolve around his relationship with Shuichi. Why? He's his own person. I don't mind Seiwama as a ship, but when your primary intention is just creating pre-game headcanons, it's just to ship them, it's weird. And that goes for not for every Seiwama shipper, of course. In the end, this is just my opinion. You can agree or disagree, since there is no canon. Every headcanon is equally valid. So remember that the most important thing is to have fun. Hashtag Kokichi 2020. Thank you, everyone who read this. I'd love to discuss your opinions. Agree or disagree in the comments. So if you have something to say, don't be afraid and say it. That is a great ending. This